The following programming is sponsored by Tom Toole III. The views expressed do not necessarily reflect the views of this station, its management, or Beasley Media Group.
Good afternoon, Greater Philadelphia area. This is Toole Time Real Estate Radio on WWDB 860 AM. I'm Tom Toole. She's Stacey Mitchell. She's Sarah Tymon. We've got Gabe behind the camera, and we all work with the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX Mainline, the number one RE/MAX team in Pennsylvania since 2018. And if you have been living under a rock, you would have heard about this. Or I don't think I said that right, but unless you've been living under a rock, you would have heard about what went on last week with the Federal Reserve meeting. And if you want to tune in, we're streaming live on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Just look up Tom Toole Sales Group. Big news coming out with the Fed Wednesday meeting last week. Basis points got raised, or the Fed key rate got raised by 3/4 of a basis point. And now there's all kinds of talk that we're absolutely in a recession. What does it mean for the market? And there's a lot to unpack here. And we've got a couple different reports and a lot of data we're going to share. Ladies, what was the initial reaction to the meeting on your end and by your clients, and especially being in the day-to-day of helping people buy and sell real estate?
Well, it was definitely an awakening. Some clients, it was funny because one of them reached out to me specifically and wanted to know what that means for her. So I had to go through and explain how the interest rates are going to affect her buying power. And I had been trying to coach her along to, she planned on doing a buy and sell, and we were trying to do it last fall, and she wanted to wait till this spring. So now she unfortunately is going to find herself in a situation where she's going to be able to afford less of a house than what she was currently looking for or previously looking for. So that was one particular buyer that I was dealing with. The other one, we had to totally readjust their budget. They were looking up into the 650s, and we were doing some cost sheets the other day, and they were in sticker shock. Even though their interest rate was going to be like 5.5 because they were getting a lender discount because they were using the same lender that they had used previously, it was still much more than their current 3.125. So we had to readjust, which they're fine with. It's a job reload move, so they have to be, willing to be flexible. And so, instead of looking upwards of 650, we're down at their peak at 550. So we're finding inventory that is available that meets all their check boxes. So that's a good thing. And we found over this weekend that some of the offer deadlines have been extended.
Yep.
So it's kind of interesting what's going on. I still see a lot of people that I have been working with still want to purchase, and we're still actively, moving towards that.
So people are resetting their home search is what I'm hearing. Sarah, are you seeing the same thing? Have you had similar conversations? And credit to your client for actually knowing what's going on, because most people have no idea. So that's a good client that you're working with there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing it's kind of the same as what we've been talking. The clients that are motivated and need to make the move are, we're maybe having to adjust some numbers and make sure that, we're looking every day at what does this do to your monthly payment? Because if you look back, from just a couple months ago, like what that does, it's significant. So in some cases, we're having to look at a different price point. But I'm also still noticing, I mean, I have an offer that just went in today. There were 14 offers in.
Yes.
So depending on your price point, there's a lot of factors that go into it, but people are still putting forward competitive offers.
Yes, exactly. I find the same thing. They're still competitive. We have to still think that it's multiple offer situations. That's for sure.
Well, and just because we're in a market that's changing a little bit, and I've got some comments on this, and then we're going to cite some of the expert opinions, doesn't mean buyers and sellers lack intent. And that's the thing a lot of people forget. They think the sky's going to fall, rates went up, everyone's going to stop buying and selling real estate. That's never happened in the history of real estate. People have always transacted. We talked about this during the pandemic, that people still transacted. It was a lot less, that those things happen. However, people with intent are still going to transact. Life goes on, right? Just because rates went up, if you're busting at the seams in your current home because you had a new baby and you're living in Philadelphia, I don't know who that would be, or you think your home's too big and it's too much maintenance and you can't keep up with it. Those life conditions are going to be there. So that is the one thing every single consumer needs to know. And the rates are still pretty low historically. We're seeing 30-year mortgage rates around 6% or so, a little higher than that. This is the highest basis point increase since 1994. So there's something to be said for that. And this is a big jump. So the question, and you guys answered it a little bit, is what does this mean for the market? And I would argue that this is a normal real estate market right now. This is not some unheard of market where there's this massive slowdown and the market's falling. This is what a normal market was like before 2020. And a lot of consumers don't realize that. A lot of agents don't realize that. And they're not understanding how to negotiate home inspections or adjust prices on listings or even write an offer and you're the only offer submitted. So the industry is going to be in for a little bit of a wake-up call here. In HousingWire, what they identified here, and we've been talking about Logan Matashami a lot because he knows what he's talking about here. There's talk of is a recession coming? We'll get to that in a second. What I think this means, and what I see happening here, is that buyers are going to have more options. We're starting to see inventory outpace pending sales. We've seen it happen the past 3 months in a row. And on top of that, the market's going to be less volatile, but also still competitive, like you said, Sarah, because the best homes always sell quickly, and there's always going to be multiple people interested in them while inventory sits as low as it does. To give people some perspective through the end of May, now we don't have the June numbers yet, in Philadelphia, Chester, Delaware, Montgomery counties, we saw basically a 2/3 of a month's supply, so we'll call it 19, 20 days, somewhere around there. And it ranged from 19 to 22. And in Philadelphia, we saw a 2.2-month supply. So it's a little bit of a jump. So you're looking more like 65, 68 days of homes if nothing else came to the market. So they're still lower in May. I anticipate that's going to rise as we work through the summer here. And what I also know is that, like you said, some buyers are just going to pull out. More importantly, the existing number of homes that are selling have dropped this year in all areas. It was down 2.4% in April, and the adjusted, how many homes we think are going to sell this year is in the 5.61 million range. Last year it was over 7. So that's where you're feeling the deceleration, and some buyers just deciding not to get into the market, while other sellers, I think they're starting to realize they might have missed their opportunity to really cash out high here, especially with affordability. So that's what I see this. And, because of what the Fed said, they're not done here. So where do you think rates are going to end up? Because they're going to continue to increase these rates. The next meeting's in July, and they've already said, like, we're not going to stop this here. And inflation's still at 8.8%, the highest in 40-plus years. Do we see 7? Do we see 8? What do you anticipate that happens through the next 6 months of 2022?
I think we're going to be above 7. I don't know that we're going to actually hit. I don't know that we're going to actually hit 8, but I think we're going to be above 7.
Okay.
We're definitely going to be at the 7 mark, not 8. I think 8 would definitely create too much fear and panic in the economy too quickly. A lot of people were very concerned about this one being a little bit too aggressive. So I think they definitely have to tread lightly. Because with all the talk of recession, people are getting real antsy and real concerned. I hear that a lot when I'm out, talking to people. So it's just going to be a delicate balance because they don't want everybody pulling back everything. Because even I think consumer spending was down in May also. So that's another indicator. But I think we'll definitely get up to 7. That's for sure.
So here's how wrong the experts have been, just to give some perspective here. This article is from Market Watch on May 19th. So literally 32 days ago, maybe 33, probably 33. A lot of experts on this article The Mortgage Bankers Association, they forecast 30-year rates will close out at 5%. They were wrong, unless they go down, which may not be a bad thing. Freddie Mac forecasted they'd average 4.6% for the year. I'd have to see how they're but that's an average for the year. So you got 3% at the beginning. They did not expect rates to rise abruptly. And then there's some people that predicted 6%. So I tend to agree. I see 7 is kind of where this ends up because this has kind of been factored in already. The rates jumped before our show last week, and the meeting didn't even happen yet. So I'm in agreement with you. I think 7's kind of where it's going to go. And what I also know is that the experts out there saying the shoe's going to drop in housing, meaning housing prices are going to come down, I could not disagree more with that because there's still a supply and demand issue. So I don't know. What do you guys think about housing prices?
I totally agree.
I know we're
with
kind of
that.
aligned on this already, but I want to be super clear.
It's just it's sometimes it's a little frustrating trying to explain to people over and over why that's not going to happen.
Right.
And even if it would take a dip, it's just probably you're going to see some of the homes that were aggressively priced on the market doing price adjustments.
Right,
So
to where
that
they
would be-
match what they should be priced at.
Right.
And I mean, I think that I can agree with that the number of home sales may go down, but I don't think that that there's going to be that the value of the homes are going to be going down.
So I agree with both of you. And the reason I say this, I listened to the Pivot podcast. I don't know if you guys listen to that. It's got Scott Galloway. He's an NYU business professor. I find him really interesting. He said that housing's the next shoe to drop, and I was like, this was Friday. So I'm like, you got to be kidding me, dude. But that's fine. We'll see who's right at the end of the year. Redfin had a report that came out, and this dropped today that they had 2 reports specifically. The first is the home buyer competition in May. And they charted this since April of 2020, the monthly share of offers written by Redfin agents, so it's a smaller sample size, obviously, that face competition. And in May, it was 57.8% of the offers written, down from 60.9% in April, and a peak of May 2021 of 68.8%. So that to me is, I would say, without having our own numbers here, and our numbers would obviously be smaller with our organization, that feels right, that you kind of saw that kind of dip in February of 21, and then it peaked right back up last spring, and then it's been kind of even since. If you look at the chart here, and we'll get this up on the replay, it's been pretty consistent up until May of this year, and that's when all the rate hikes started to happen. The second report is about listing price drops. I find this one to be very interesting. So the 4-week rolling average share of homes with price adjustments. So at the beginning of 2022, it was only 2% of properties had price adjustments, according to this the Redfin analysis of MLS data. It jumped to 5.6% so far in June. And if you look at the chart here, it was hovering anywhere from 2 to 3.5. But seeing that 5.6 number, this is just the beginning, because if a home's not priced right, you said it, you got to adjust the number. There's no other way to do it. So seeing this data, what does that mean for people that are looking at this? I mean, are we seeing that deceleration? What do you, if someone asked you this, that's buying or selling a home, how would you interpret this data?
Well, sellers are always the last to know that the market's changing. So that's why you're going to see the price adjustments, because we know it's happening, and we can give a real knowledgeable assessment on what we believe that the market would bear for a house when it's going to be listed. But you really have to listen to what the sellers want to do, and if they want to go $50,000 over what you recommend, then you have to listen to what they want. So they're the folks that you're going to see the more of the adjustments, because they still think it's such a an aggressive market that they are going to get 15 offers all over asking price and waiving inspections and everything else.
Right. I mean, and what's interesting, and this is true regardless of if there's a shift happening now or even last year at this time, the way that you're going to get the best offers and the most offers and have the most to weed through is not to overprice it. It's to do your research, look at the numbers, put it at a price that's going to drum up the attention and have people go up, because you may end up with ultimately that number, but there's a strategy and a way to get there. And if you just list something really high, I mean, now I think you're going to certainly see the effects of it. And I think that you could see that even in the height of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Totally agree. And I mean, buyers are too savvy right now. Like they do so much research before they even get to the home,
Right.
because they've been trained that I don't have time to make a decision after I see it. I've got to be prepared beforehand. At least the buyers that have good agents have been trained that way. So I totally agree with both of you. The adjusting price tells me the market's slowing down a little bit. And it also means they just picked the wrong price. I mean, sometimes it doesn't matter what you tell a seller. They're going to price it where they think they're going to price it, and then the market sets the number. That's how it always works. A home is worth as much as a buyer is willing to pay, period. And you can argue that in great markets like we just saw the past 24 months, or markets that are maybe a little tougher in 2008, 2009, 2010 is an extreme example. So the Redfin data that tells me the market is decelerating a little bit. We're going to see time on market rise. I'm clear on that. We're going to see buyers look at more homes. And what I also see here is I think there's a little bit of uncertainty right now, because the Fed came out and their whole reason behind raising rates was inflation's high, we got to combat it. So are you seeing that there's some buyers that just are, besides resetting, they're just like, and sellers too, they're a little uncertain about the economy. They're worried about the recession that, in my view, has happened already, because a recession is defined by 2 quarters of declining economic data. We're almost done the second quarter here. We've seen what's happened with the stock market. Inflation's at this very high number in 4 decades. Do you see people pulling out of the market, just kind of waiting to see what happens the next couple months? Is that a real thing that's going on right now?
Yeah, I think so. And I think that sometimes those are the same people that, if it wasn't that, like, unless if things completely flipped to where it was an ideal market for them to buy, if it wasn't this, it maybe would have been something else. But yeah, no, I think I am seeing that for sure.
I have a couple clients. The market was way too hot. They're like Goldilocks. It was way too hot, and now it's like, oh, we don't know because we're uncertain. So, but I think,
when's it going to be just right?
Yeah.
Nobody has a crystal ball, so you have to take a leap of faith sometimes, you know, and just go for it. Because one thing is certain, nothing stays the same. It's always changing.
Right.
So where they could have gotten in on the low interest rates, but a little bit more competitive, now that the interest rates are a little bit higher, it's still not ideal.
Right.
So for them.
Right.
Well, and I agree, because there is, I mean, and there's been a lot of people that have been charting this and saying, here it comes, here's what's going on. I was, and this is why you shouldn't watch the news, by the way, because I was out of it and home sick. A rare sick day for me last Thursday, right after all this stuff happened. And I put on CNBC and laid on my couch, and I was so depressed just listening to it. Because every stock was down, but stocks go up and down all the time. So the thing I look to here, and I find this pretty interesting, is Logan Matashami from HousingWire. He has 6 recession red flags, and he's saying the 5th one got raised. And this is some pretty analytical stuff. So I'm going to break this down for someone that maybe isn't into regression analyses, and statistics. So the short of it is, he has a progression model, which is basically a statistical graph of different things. And he has big 4 indicators since the last recession: employment, industrial production, real sales, and real income. So month over month, you're seeing these numbers have had a little bit of a dip here as of May 2022. And the 5th one is the around housing starts and like permits getting pulled and what new people are building. And I think we're less prone to, in fact, I know we are less prone to that here in the greater Philadelphia area, because there's just not as much new construction. Now you go out to like central Pennsylvania, I think it's a totally different story. There's new homes and new communities getting built all the time. And you kind of see that on the edge of Chester County a little bit and some parts of Montgomery County. But you go to places like, the Midwest, they're building like new communities, and they're building like towns sometimes. So seeing that is something that really indicates to me that, yeah, this is something that's happening. We've seen what the Fed's doing. So knowing that the recession, it looks to be real, knowing what the Fed did, knowing what the Redfin data says, how are you talking to clients right now? This is the biggest question. Like, what are you telling them? Because to me, there's 3 types of realtors that are going to be out there. There's going to be the sky is falling realtor that tries to use fear-induced tactics to get people to list and sell. There's the the market's going to do great no matter what, rose-colored glasses realtor, which that may be fine, but when your business is suffering and you're the decision maker, or they're laying off people at your place of employment, or there's other things happening, it doesn't matter if housing prices are going up. Your situation's a lot different. And then there's going to be the third agent that actually knows what's going on and communicates that and has some empathy while they're doing it, because some people are going to get affected a lot differently than others here. So what's the messaging you're giving to clients right now, and how are you helping them work through all this? Because you watch the news, you read these articles, it does sound, and there are some serious indicators here. How are you helping them make a logical decision?
I mean, my advice is, you get down to motivation. You get down to what is the reason for the move. You look at the numbers. Given this being what interest rates are, this is what's going on. Can you afford this monthly payment comfortably? Also, given that we don't know exactly what's going to happen with inflation. So let's say things keep going, we don't know how long this will go on for. So you need to have enough of a buffer in there that nobody wants to be in that position where you're right on the line of like, can I make all of my bills and all of my payments? And what if something happens, just making sure that they're educated on where are you comfortable and what is your comfort level and can we make this work? And that there's still opportunity there. I mean, and just finding the right spot. And like Stacey had said, you may have to pivot a bit. You may have to adjust your price point. You may have to, just know that your interest rate's going to be higher. And that stinks. But, just have to look at the whole big picture.
You have to look at the whole big picture. And I think giving them a lot of information, especially pertaining to all the numbers, run cost sheets like in every scenario that you can possibly imagine, different price points. I think that's so helpful for them when they can actually see it and understand what are these costs. What's it going to cost me to get into the home, and what's my monthly payment going to be based on that tax, what the taxes are in the home, speculated closing dates, things like that. Does it work for them? Do we have to adjust? I think that provides the most comfort for my clients when they can actually see the numbers and they can, figure it out, discuss it amongst themselves and figure out which direction they want to go.
Yeah, when it shows them, like, what does this mean for me? Because when you talk about things in the broad, like, it's just like, all right, but what does that really do to me? So seeing, like, this is what it does.
Great point.
Like, okay. Right. That makes sense.
Right.
And they also want your opinion, too. And this is where a lot of agents, they don't have the backbone to actually say, here's what this data tells me based on my experience. And that's the kind of agent that's going to survive. And we're going to talk about, like, what all this means for agents next on our next segment here with all the layoffs last week that happened with some of these major companies. They want your opinion. Like, it's great to say, okay, Sarah, well, the rates are going up. Like, you're telling me this, but so what should we do? Like, people want to know, like, what should we do here in some cases? And I always find it's best to say, okay, if you want to get the home, here's what to do. Or if you want to move, here's what to do based on this. Now, you don't have to move.
Right.
You got to make the decision to move.
Right.
I'm telling you, if you want to move, here's what to do. And that takes a lot out of it because you're giving them advice based on facts and data and having empathy to do it and letting them know you can do whatever you want here. But if you're looking for advice, this is what I would recommend we do. And I'm clear that's the kind of conversations every agent's going to need to be having right now, because if they're not and they're just giving blasé information, or they're living in this fear-based Chicken Little movie, right? Or the market's still going to go up, you're fine, which isn't going to affect people that way. People are going to start to tune out those agents and look for the ones that are actually doing business and helping people and transacting.
And knowing the local business, because that's what it is all about. And the more knowledge you have, and it really, that solidifies everything for a lot of my clients, especially if they're coming in from a different area and they don't know the area.
Right.
Just having been here all my life and being able to just historically tell them about market shifts and happenings, it really helps ease their minds. I mean, this is a great area that we're fortunate to be in such a great market and great area. So we don't have those big swales like some areas did, in 08 and 09. Everyone was affected, but there was markets that were much more affected. We managed to skirt around a lot of that. So just providing that historical information and in the local market and what I know about the market is really helpful.
Love it. So there's a lot of change happening right now. The more informed you are, the better as a consumer, and all the more reason you have someone that can actually explain this stuff like we just did. So if your agent can't, I would argue might be time to find another agent. So on that note, yeah, call. Don't give out your cell phone number would be my advice. You can follow her on Instagram. So on that note, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back, and we're going to talk about all the layoffs that happened in the real estate industry this past week and what it means moving forward. And is there a purge coming? This is Tool Time Real Estate Radio on WWDB 860 AM.
Have you considered a career in real estate? Do you want control over your income? Whether you have a license or not, call us today at 610-692-6976 or visit TomToole.com. Join our team, the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX Main Line.
Buying a home or already own one? We can help. I am Kevin Hamill from Alliances Insurance Agency. If you haven't reviewed your policies in the last 3 years, now's the time. New home buyers, there are a number of ways that we can help you get to that settlement table. Call us to find out more at 610-816-0043, extension 3, or visit our website, alliancesinsurance.com. Don't forget the S, it's for savings.
For the best local mortgage service and great rates on your money, look no further than Mortgage America. We have been operating in the greater Philadelphia area for 40 years with a focus on smooth, easy access to home purchasing. Whether you're a first-time buyer, upsizing or downsizing, or just refinancing, we have programs for you. We also have closing cost assistance programs and access to subsidized interest rates. Pre-approval is free, no costs or commitments. To learn more, visit our website at mymortgageamerica.com or give us a call at 610-439-8000. We always have a person available to take your call with around-the-clock human service. Purchase your home with the personalized local service you find at Mortgage America.
Mortgage America is an equal housing lender. NMLS 128501.
The Tom Toole Sales Group is the #1 RE/MAX team in Pennsylvania with over $165 million in volume for 2021. I'm Tom Toole, and our team has achieved that kind of success by being a great place to work with and to work for. No one knows Greater Philly better than we do. We know real estate, but more importantly, we're real people. We hire the best agents, and we give them all the tools to succeed. Even our brand new agents sell 17 to 24 homes a year because our team delivers the best experience in real estate. Teams deliver a better experience than individuals, and we're a top 1% real estate team in the country. We call it AAA service. We're your advocate, ally, and advisor. Because this isn't a transaction to us. It's a relationship. If you're buying or selling a home, call the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX Main Line at 610-692-6976 or visit TomToole.com. That's TomToole.com. Sell your home for more, and remember the real estate golden rule. You always get more when you work with Tom Toole. Welcome back to Tool Time Real Estate Radio on WWDB 860 AM. I'm Tom Toole. She's Sarah Tymon. She's Stacey Mitchell. We've got Gabe behind the camera, and we all work at the Tom Toole Sales Group with RE/MAX Main Line, the #1 RE/MAX team in Pennsylvania since 2018 and number 13 in the country year to date. I don't know if you guys knew that.
Ooh.
It's breaking news here on the #1 real estate show in Philadelphia because I think we're the only one. So what I want to talk about next, and to me this is something I don't think enough people are talking about because consumers are going to get affected by this more so than I think they even realize, and in a good way, is that there was a lot of layoffs last week in the real estate world, and we've seen the mortgage companies do this too. Like Better is cutting people like on Zoom calls, Better Mortgage. Redfin laid off 8% of their staff because there's not enough work. I don't see that really being a problem for a lot of people here. I think there's actually more work now that the market's slowing. That's another story. Compass cut 10% of their paid staff. So this is a lot of people that are getting laid off right now. And again, another sign of a recession. Do you see this as a sign that there's a purge coming in the real estate market? And meaning people are going to get out. There's going to be less people working in the market. To give some perspective, 10 years ago in 2012, there was just over 1 million agents. Now there's over 1.5 million. So are there more people getting out? What do you two see as the result of this? And what are you hearing on the ground? Because I think that's the lead indicator here.
Well, it's a tough business. So a lot of people
Agreed. Yes.
So, with that being said, a lot of people got into the business in the past couple of years because they thought it was going to be so easy to make some quick money because houses could kind of sell themselves. Not true, but that's what they thought. So, I think some agents are going to fall off because of that, because they realize it's not easy. It's very difficult, and with the shifting market, they're going to even get more frustrated and worried. So they're just going to find another field to get into. And I think some of the second part of the purge may be some of the folks that have been in the industry for a long period of time. They might have stayed through the big upswing in the market because of, again, the ease of buying and selling real estate at that time. But with the shifting market now, they might decide, you know what, it was a good run. I'm going to get out now. Things have really changed, especially with all the electronic advances, with a lot of the technology that we've been utilizing through the pandemic. They might not be so savvy to that technology. So I think you're going to see some purge in that area too. So I totally agree with this. We're going to see, a lot of agents falling out of the industry.
Yeah, I would agree with that 100%. I think that as things shift here, depending on when, like, let's say that you got into the market pretty recently and maybe you had some success and there was certain strategies that you used in order to get offers accepted or listings or, whichever it may be. And as things change, you have to be able to be knowledgeable of that and know how to shift your strategy. So if you're not able to adapt, that could be something that could pull people out. And also, if during the time where things shift, you need to be able to potentially have a couple months of a change in your income. And you have to, if you don't have something set aside to ride through the change, if you do have a buffer period there while you're figuring it out, or if something happens or whatever, a lot of times, like, you don't have a choice. Like, maybe you would want to stay in it, but if you don't have a buffer, like, what are you going to do? Like, you've got to go do something else. So, because with this, it's, in most cases you're solely commission for the most part, and it's not like when you get something under contract that you get paid right then. Like, depending on your settlement time frame, you could be a couple months out from that paycheck. So,
or it could fall apart.
Or it can fall apart.
Paycheck.
Yeah. You definitely don't
The
want to
day of closing.
Right.
Yeah, you don't want to count your chickens before they hatch.
Never. A lot of people do that.
Right.
They spend commission before it's even earned, really.
Right. They get commission advances and have to pay a portion of that back. I mean, I've seen those companies exist. So that's a really great point. I love what you're talking about, Sarah, because I think this is the problem with realtors is they don't budget and have they're like, what do you mean budget? And then I have to pay taxes out of this commission? Like, I mean, This is the stuff people don't get. So to me, that's absolutely part of it. I want to give you the list of companies that have cut in real estate so far this year. There's over a dozen. So let's go Better Mortgage, Blend. I never heard of them. That's another mortgage company. Compass. Doma is a digital title insurance company. Guaranteed Rate, a big lender. Homey, I have no idea. That's a flat fee brokerage in Utah. Keller Mortgage. Knock, which is that's kind of a real estate tech company. Loan Depot, Mr. Cooper, Notarize, PennyMac, Redfin, Rex Real Estate. I'm pretty sure they're out of business. Rocket Companies, it's Rocket Mortgage. Side, which is another, it's like kind of a VC tech company. Tomo, another mortgage company. Wells Fargo, and Zumper. So a lot of mortgage companies in there.
Yeah, I was going to say, so out of all of those, there were three that aren't
four.
mortgage?
I mean, four
Okay,
real
four.
estate companies and some tech companies in there.
Yeah.
Doesn't surprise me with the mortgage companies because what I know is that 82% of the rate locks in May, they were all for purchases. A lot of those people were living off refis. And to your point, when the market turns, like the first thing to go away is the easy stuff. I mean, when rates are low, you can write those refis all day, but and there's a lot of big lenders right now that they're cutting their fees so much for the business that you can't even start a new mortgage company right now. I think Tomo is a good example. I mean, they were Greg Schwartz, smart guy, ex-president of Zillow, former president of Zillow. I mean, they had to really cut back their expansion, and I think that's a tough business to be getting into right now because the big banks are just like, screw it, we want the interest. We'll cut a lot of the lending fees. So there are a lot of those in there. What I saw, it was a lot of newer companies, meaning, and you could put Compass and Redfin in that boat too, where they staffed up because the market was hot, and then they cut back when volume went down. That's the biggest observation I saw there. So knowing that those are kind of the people that are cutting, and also I think it's important to acknowledge that Fannie Mae downgraded their expectations for 2022 and 2023. So what they're saying is that home sales are going to fall 13.5% this year. That's a big number. This is all related. Rates are up. That easy refi business isn't there. Some people were, like you said, just kind of doing business because they were there and they were showing up and they didn't know what to do. They just happened to be in the right place at the right time. I mean, so are you going to see more people get out of the industry? I think is the big question here, because 13.5% is pretty big. That's a large portion of volume there. I mean, what do you see happening with real estate agents specifically? And I do think we're going to see people kind of shrink their staffs a little bit because payrolls get bloated when there's a lot of sales coming in. Mm-hmm. What do you think about the number of real estate professionals specifically?
I think it's going to thin out. Again, because you have to get back to basics to find the right clients, the right motivated clients. Like, things aren't necessarily just going to be coming to you. So there's that piece of it, and I think that you're also going to be in a position where you're still having to have those tough conversations with a lot of your clients, mm-hmm. and you have to be able to communicate to them properly what's going on, what that means for them, and to have some difficult conversations with clients, especially ones that maybe you've been working with for a little while and had different expectations for what their home was going to look like based off of what was going on at the time. And if you can't communicate that to them in a way that they are still on board with the home search while it looks different, then you've potentially lost that client. So, I think there's going to be some tough conversations and some people that fall away.
So I'll take it one step further in that I know these conversations have happened with, we've had some people leave our team, right? I think this happens everywhere. It's nothing mm-hmm. that we're being shy about. And some of those people, they weren't following the process or having those tough conversations. And I know in particular one client, we were able to sell him a house with somebody else, but they told the agent that worked with them, hey, if we didn't get the next offer, we were going to fire the agent because they weren't telling us what to do and they weren't following the process. And I think that you're going to see a lot of that happen too, where these people aren't trained right, and it's like you're not having those tough conversations. I mean, that's real life. I mean, I've gotten fired many times, so clients fire me and I fire clients. Sometimes just not the right fit, but it's not because of lack of having that real conversation. It might be for other reasons, and I think that's the thing people need to get real with, because if you're not having tough conversations with people in this market, or any market, then you're not really helping them.
Right. And that's what it's all about. It's, you want to help them make the best strong decision for the position. They're looking to you for guidance. If you're not telling them what is actually happening behind the scenes, everything that we know and our experience, that's a disservice to them, because then they don't know how to write a strong offer. They might think their offer's strong. I mean, how many times, Sarah, have you thought they're like, well, we're thinking about offering, asking price and doing a home inspection. And you're like, I'm sorry, let me explain to you what a strong offer really is. Right. If you're not doing that and they continue to think that their offers are strong going in, mm-hmm. and they keep getting rejected and rejected and rejected without knowing the real situation, I can see where that would become very frustrating.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, and I think it's something that we've touched on before. A lot of times somebody does have to lose a house in order to
100%
to believe what you're saying, right?
Yes.
And then, but from that point on, you need to provide them with, like, this is what, given everything that's going on right now in the market, given my experience, based on comps, blah, 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 this is what will secure the property. And then for them, is it worth it to you? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because, like, my job is to tell you, this is what will get the job done. Your job as the buyer is to decide, do I like it at that number and with those terms?
Yes.
Because, maybe you don't. Maybe what it takes to get it isn't something you're willing to do. And then that's fine. Then that isn't the house for you. But I guess letting people continue to put in offers that aren't strong enough to secure it is going to just lead to everybody being frustrated.
Right. And you have to not take things personally, too. I think maybe there's some agents out there that don't want to hurt other people's feelings. But if you're not hurting anybody's feelings, you're providing them with facts.
Right.
So it's not, I didn't create this market. I'm telling you how to navigate through this market.
Right.
There's a big, big difference.
Right.
And I think you gain someone's trust and respect more when you're putting those facts out there and letting them decide on how they want to move forward. But they have to know all the information.
Right. Right.
I would even take it one step further in that not only do you have to know the information, but if you're doing people a disservice when you don't share it. Like, you're actually hurting the client when you don't tell them how things are going. And we've talked about this internally a lot. There's an issue right now where there's a lot of order taking that happened over the past 24 months. They said, okay, yeah, that's the offer you want to write? Great. No feedback, no input, no insight, no market data. And that's the agents that have clients that lose constantly. They don't call the listing agent and see what's going on. They don't use the strategy. And we have 14 questions we give to everyone to kind of ask themselves and ask other people, like, is this high enough to get the price? Have you tried an oddball number? All those different things that you guys are all trained on. If you're not doing that, it doesn't matter. Like, you have to actually execute and implement on the plan. And we know that the top 10% of real estate agents, they sell over half the business anyway. So you got the bottom 50% fighting over 10 to 15% of the business. And I think that's going to even happen more so with the way the market's going, because a lot of these people don't have the right training and they don't know what to do. They just thought it'd be easy getting their real estate license.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And there's many, many ways that you can provide information, especially if your clients are losing out on offers. Get it in writing from the listing agent. What was the competition? How many offers were there? They might not be able to tell you exactly what the numbers are, but they can say it was well above asking. It was, a large down payment. It was waiving this or doing that. So if you get these things in writing straight from the other person's email, you send it over to your clients. That's going to really solidify it too. That'll be an eye opener. It's not just coming from you; it's coming from somebody else. So again, it's still
third-party validation.
Yes, providing the information to your clients so that they can make the best decisions.
So what I also have seen internally, and we track a lot of data, as you guys can probably tell if you listen to the show, there's two other indicators that tell me the number of agents will be coming down. And I see this as just such a major opportunity for the people that are actually committed to selling real estate and as a career, not just a quick rich or get rich quick scheme, right? That's it. Okay. We've seen agent movement spike over the first half of the year, where offices locally in our marketplace have lost anywhere from 10 to 15% of their agents and they just move somewhere else. You know why most people make a move like that? They're looking for a magic bullet.
The grass is greener.
Yeah, the grass
on the
is
other
greener.
side.
And if you come to our team, maybe it is. But other places, I don't know that that's the case. And I mean, I just believe in what we offer and what we do in all seriousness. We're also seeing, because we do a lot of things like a real estate scholarship program. We work with a lot of new agents. Both of the ladies here were new agents when they joined our team. We're seeing those people that want to get into real estate, that number has dropped substantially the past 30 days.
Wow.
With just inbound applications and inbound leads, because going from I have this salaried job to, hey, there's a recession coming and now I'm going to go do a commission-based job where getting started is the hardest part. I think you're going to see those people kind of pull back, and maybe those are the people that weren't cut out for real estate in the first place, because to me, you have to be able to want to get into this market no matter what happens. I'm clear the best agents are made during times like these. So those two factors as well tell me we're going to see this number drop off, and teams, brokerages that have a training program that know how to show people how to go sell houses and find business, they're the ones that are going to take market share. I don't think there's any question. And anytime you see people cutting paid staff, it's not a good sign.
Yeah.
Right.
That's tough.
And it's hard when people losing their jobs. I mean,
Yeah.
I've seen people on the other side of this where they have to fire the people for the company. I mean, that's or they're like that knucklehead from Better firing them on a Zoom call. I mean,
can't
it's
believe that.
But that's what companies that don't have a good business plan do. And
Right.
agents with a good business plan are going to be the ones that survive no matter what the market's like. So we're all in agreement. There's a purge, not the kind where they like kill people in the movie, but an actual purge
There's a
of
purge.
professionals. Okay, so we're all in agreement. Good stuff. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. It's almost the official start of summer. I would argue summer happened on Memorial Day. That's a different debate. What should agents be doing to prepare their business for summer so they can sell houses and take time off? We'll cover it next on Tool Time Real Estate Radio on WWDB 860 AM.
You shouldn't have to deal with all the red tape when getting your mortgage from a big or online bank. At Mortgage America, we have access to big bank money, but with the personalized and detailed service of a local bank. We are here in your community and ready to serve with fast settlements, low down payment options, and first-time homebuyer programs. Pre-approval is free, no costs or commitments. For more information, visit our website at mymortgageamerica.com or give us a call at 610-439-8000.
Mortgage America's Equal Housing Lender. NMLS 128501.
Have you considered a career in real estate? Do you want control over your income? Whether you have a license or not, call us today at 610-692-6976 or visit TomToole.com. Join our team, the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX Main Line.
Buying a home or already own one? We can help. I am Kevin Hamill from Alliances Insurance Agency. If you haven't reviewed your policies in the last 3 years, now's the time. New home buyers, there are a number of ways that we can help you get to that settlement table. Call us to find out more at 610-816-0043, extension 3, or visit our website, alliancesinsurance.com. Don't forget the S, it's for savings.
I'm Tom Toole of the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX Main Line. If you're thinking of becoming a real estate agent in the greater Philly area, I have a special offer for you. Our team did $165 million of volume in 2021, making us the #1 RE/MAX team in Pennsylvania and a top 1% team nationally. Our agents love us because we offer them a successful career, a great life, and an unbeatable culture. Agents who've been with us for at least a year average 30-plus sales. Even our brand new agents average 17 to 24 sales a year. We offer proven systems and expert training. We help you set more appointments and sell more houses. Now here's the offer. If you don't have a real estate license yet, we offer real estate scholarships so you can get one for free. Check it out at realestateScholarshipProgram.com or visit the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX Main Line at TomToole.com. That's TomToole.com. Get more out of your real estate career, and remember the real estate golden rule. You always get more when you work with Tom Toole. All right. We are back on Tool Time Real Estate Radio on WWDB 860 AM. I'm Tom Toole. She's Stacey Mitchell. She's Sarah Tymon. We've got Gabe behind the camera, and we all work with the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX Mainline, the #1 RE/MAX team in Pennsylvania since 2018. And we're streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Just look up Tom Toole Sales Group. So summer is here, and on school's out. Memorial Day's happened. I would argue Memorial Day is when summer really starts. We can have that debate another time. More importantly, now that school's out, like vacations are starting. You're seeing less people around. Like you can almost kind of feel it. Like when school's out, people are just gone and they start going on vacations. And real estate agents take vacations too. I know this is unheard of. They're allowed to. It's legal. There's no problem with it. However, what I find, and you probably have, I'd love to hear your two experiences on this. They don't prepare for their vacations. They just leave and they're like, I'm going to work the whole time. And then it's a disaster every single time if you got a transaction going on, or like all of a sudden there's people that have real intent that come out of the woodwork and you can lose business. I know we have some internal training protocols on this. Do you find this with other agents? They have no plan when they go on vacation?
Yeah, and it's tricky when, you're trying to get through a transaction and they're just like unavailable or
drunk.
Crickets.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. You can't get any information. They have nobody in the office that you can talk to.
Mm-hmm.
It could be very frustrating.
And I would argue that is malpractice as a business to do that, one, to your clients, but it's not just the clients that get affected.
Your vacation's ruined too. Like if it's you that does that, like not that we would expect, like if you are like, all right, I'm going away, but it's gonna be a working vacation, like without a doubt, you get sucked into like a million different
Everything.
things that end up taking forever. And kind of like you said, people come out of the woodwork. It's like they have like a sense. They're like, oh, you're going away? Now is when I will reemerge. And like all of a sudden you get like
Sounds like a
all
villain.
of- you get like all of these things that you're just like, I've been
I want
trying
to see this house. I want to see that
right,
one.
where it's like, I've been trying to talk to you for months and like line up different things. And now is like,
Just
it
go on
always happens
vacation
that way.
and your business will boom. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're all in agreement here. And I would also say it's not just your clients and your vacation getting ruined. Think about the people on the other side that are just like trying to get answers or trying to like buy your house or
Right.
they want to sell their house and you've got this buyer that's unavailable. So it's just bad business all around. And so what I thought we could cover real quickly here is the things real estate agents should be doing to plan for, one, a well-deserved vacation. This is one of the hardest businesses out there. There's a major hustle component, and everyone deserves a vacation. I'm a big believer in this. Part of our team's mission is to make it the easiest place to sell and buy real estate, but also to have a great life outside of real estate, which includes vacations. I don't know about you guys. So what are some of the things agents should be doing to prep for their vacations? Hopefully they're going to listen to this and actually listen so their business doesn't get screwed while they're gone.
Yeah, I mean, I think being organized before going, like having all of your date, like what deadlines are going to be happening during the time that you're gone. How are you going to like line up? Like, are you going to be checking in with them, or are you going to designate that to some of your support staff? Like, letting your support staff know that you're going on vacation.
Yes.
Also important. And having kind of like setting up with somebody on your team, if you're on a team, like, hey, if something comes up, like, can I count on you to, take care of something here? Or if you have clients that are super motivated and you know that like something could come up that they need to see a property while you're gone, like, can I connect you guys?
Mm-hmm. Love that.
Mm-hmm. So planning out your calendar in the beginning of the year. If you can put your vacation time in your calendar, that will help you when you're getting closer to that time. When you're putting offers together, you won't have a closing date during your
that's
during
smart.
your vacation, or you can kind of work around it a little bit better. Now, there's always going to be something that comes up, no matter what. So definitely having coverage. You have to either reach out to another agent, have somebody that's going to be able to field questions or be at the ready if somebody wants to go on a quick showing or do a walkthrough, something. So you definitely have to plan, strategize, and set yourself up so that you can enjoy your vacation. You don't want to be so stressed out when you're on vacation. It's stressful prior to going on vacation and coming back because there is a lot of catching up to do. But the more that you can prep, the better off everyone's going to be. Your clients, you, your family, everyone.
Proper preparation prevents poor performance. So that's a good one to go by there. I love putting it in your schedule. I like the coverage plan, and I think that's one of the benefits of having a team versus being a single agent. I've been on the other side of this and this is the mistake agents make. They don't want to like pay anybody, and then they actually lose business. I have seen real estate agents, like I've gotten calls, hey, my agent's on vacation. We're not going to wait. We need to go look at this house because we don't want to lose it. Like these are real conversations, and they don't have a contract signed. There's, you have to navigate all the legalities of it. So I'm not saying do anything illegal, but these are calls that come in. It's you're doing such a disservice. So I would pay people to cover for me. I mean, it would just
It's worth it.
It's also the right thing to do, and I think that's where a lot of people get lost in this. They don't want to, just because the right house comes on the market. You got to work that out in the beginning. So to me, it's like find a vacation buddy. If you're on a team, you're in a great spot because I think a lot of people can pitch in. We have an agent that's been in Turkey for 3 weeks. I think she wrote 2 offers today, and that's where her family's from and all that. So I mean, and she's been able to have showings and that stuff happens. So that's a great example where a team can help you. But if not, just find an agent in your office that you're like friends with. Or, I mean, I've covered showings for you before. We've covered stuff for other people all the time. So if not, find an agent in your office that you're going to like, hey, when you go on vacation, I got your back. That would be, that's a good way to play it. I'd also be mindful of when you're taking off, because to me, it's always better to take off when other people are off. like 4th of July or like a holiday weekend versus, hey, I'm going to take the third week in May off. Like, I mean, that's just it's not smart business. We know that's a seasonal adjustment there. Anything else you'd suggest people do?
I think letting your clients know that you're going on vacation. So,
Yes.
you know, still like, and depending on what your situation is, and like you're going to have clients that are at different levels of involvement with you, and like, you know, people that you would like, no, I don't care that I'm on vacation. You call me, you know, but, you know, giving them a heads up just so that if you're typically maybe you respond immediately or blah, 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 like there might be a little bit of a delay, because if people know what's going on, they're more okay with you know, a change in circumstances from like maybe your response time isn't quite as quick, or knowing that like I'll be checking my email or my messages at this time, and like kind of like pre-setting up and giving people the expectations just so that they're not like, okay, well, she usually calls me back within an hour. Now I'm calling her 5 more times, and then you look at your phone and you're like, oh my God. So, you know, letting them know what's going on and that you are either still available or this is who you can reach out to, or like, don't panic. Like someone will be here to help you, but I'm going on vacation.
I love that. And I would, if you're going to be one of those people that has a working vacation, which I don't think is a good idea, spend like an hour a day in the morning just like getting all your, like responding to things. And if you give people certainty of when they're going to hear from you, there's not that component of calling 5 times, which you don't think people do often. They do it very frequently.
They do.
And it's, you know, to me, it's just, it's that's a whole other story. We can talk about that later. What I'd also argue folks want to do, so we got plan your vacations, put them in your calendar, find a vacation buddy, communicate with your clients. I would over-communicate with them. I would tell them like 5 or 6, hey, just so you know, I'm not going to be like, and make it super clear, and then let them know who to contact when you're gone. Like almost like an email that goes out to everybody. Take off when other people are off. And the last way to prep for the summer, and I don't think a lot of people are doing this, I know we're doing it internally, assess your business and come up with a second half business plan and tie it to math. Like how many transactions do you want to do? How many people do you need to talk to? How many appointments? What lead pillars? Most people don't look at their business plan at all after they do it. So that's how to get ready for the summer. Hope you guys got some vacations booked. I know Sarah's in the middle of renovating a house, so maybe that's where you're spending it. I don't know. That's all we got this week on Tool Time Real Estate Radio. You want to follow Stacey? She's on Instagram at @2 Mitchco. You can follow Sarah at Ty_TyTime. You can follow me at TomToole3RD. You can check us out live every week, streaming on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Just look up Tom Toole Sales Group, and we'll be back next week on Tool Time Real Estate Radio on WWDB 860 AM.